Women are so delusional nowadays. They're literally wearing delusion on themselves. You know, like we literally call it the Lululemon. That's exactly what they're wearing.
We need to get one thing straight, and this is a hill I will absolutely die on. This is not a feminine woman. And I don't believe in feminine, masculine, gender roles bullshit, but if you want to talk about those, this is not a
If you don't believe in it, then how the fuck do you say that it's not?
feminine woman. This is a woman that is deeply, deeply, deeply in her masculine. Deeply and unfortunately.
Okay, what? Because she seems feminine to me. I'm trying to think how she could be masculine. Okay, I'm intrigued. You're going to have to walk me through your logic, though.
In her masculine. This woman is dressed for the male gaze. This woman is on a schedule, cooking, cleaning, providing. This woman is disciplined. This woman is organized. This woman is goal oriented. This is a masculine woman. This is a woman that's deeply in her masculine. Most importantly,
Disciplined and organized
Wow.
and goal oriented. Masculinity is great. So that's how she's come up with the notion that this woman is masculine, this housewife. Isn't it fascinating the new places that feminism continues to evolve? Like now they're just abandoning organization as a shared human trait or a feminine trait. They're like, nope, that's masculine. You have that. We want to be disorganized.
And women are actually decently way more organized than men when it comes to organization. They are a lot messier than us overall, but when organizing stuff, they're pretty good at it.
I hope that the rest of this video is very feminine then. You know, I hope that she doesn't give in to the toxic patriarchy and the masculine impulse to be organized. I want her arguments to be out of sequence, completely chaotic and make no sense. I want to see true femininity.
this woman is inside and not outside. Women don't belong in a house, in a four-wall constrained space on a tight schedule.
That is literally the best place for women because you guys can't stand in the freaking weather. Like the weather is destructive to women.
Okay, so houses are oppression now. Houses are the patriarchy. So I guess you want to be an ally of women. You want to liberate your woman. You've got to kick her out of the house. You got to
Damn
make
right.
her live in
Live
the
in the jungle,
backyard.
girl.
And what does that make you uncomfortable? You sexist, misogynistic man. You're so controlling. You're threatened by a woman living in the backyard, are you? Insecure around a woman's raw feminine power. She doesn't need walls. She doesn't need a house. Those are patriarchal inventions. I can't believe that you've locked her away.
I mean, in a sense, yes, they are very patriarchal inventions, but very necessary inventions.
In a house all these years. You're so controlling. You're just sick bastard.
Providing food and comforts
We're
for a
just
man.
so evil.
That's not feminine.
Fucking evil.
The ancient feminine is described as wisdom, as creativity. Yes, nurturing, but definitely not coddling, as in preparing food for somebody or as in cleaning somebody else.
Preparing food is actually so integral to feminine identity that the female body quite literally creates food. That's what breastfeeding is. It's providing food. It doesn't actually get more feminine than that when you think about it. That is
Seriously.
biological bedrock. It doesn't go any deeper. That is femininity.
Else's house. Nurturing typically referred to the woman's relationship with nature and with her own children. This is a
What? Like, I feel so dumb sometimes. It's like, did I learn definitions of wrong words incorrectly? Am I grammarly an idiot when people use words in contexts that I don't fully understand? I'm just like, wait, is that what that word means? What the fuck does that word mean?
woman in her feminine. This is a nymph. This is a woman who's at one with nature. This is a creative woman. That's why they used to get kidnapped and trapped by men, is to be their muse. They typically did not like that. So they did not like living with men. They did not do any cooking or cleaning, I don't think. They spent most of their time
I don't think. So you don't even know what the fuck you're talking about.
trying to run away back into the woods. This is your real
She thinks women are fairy creatures that just, prance in the woods, and then men came and just plucked off their wings and put them in our pockets or something? Like, what?
If you've ever tried, if you've ever wondered what it looks like when someone forms their worldview based on Google image result, this is what it looks like. Your entire understanding of history and human nature and biological sex, it's all explained in this picture. This is magnificent. This is my favorite thing that I've seen today. I love this.
feminine woman.
She literally thinks all women are Tinkerbells, and then all men are just Peter Pans, I guess.
full of wisdom. She's full of a connection with the world, with nature, and she is full of freedom. She's free flowing. She's formless. The definition of femininity.
So men, I guess, aren't part of nature. And also men have nothing to do with the babies that she says women's nurturing is for. But you can see when you listen to her, it's an interesting insight into the way that these modern women actually define the word freedom. Like, what does that mean to them? That word, how do they experience freedom? For them, it so clearly means freedom from responsibility. And that's the appeal of being one with nature. Okay, so what these women like about an image like this, and
Damn, I never even thought about it that way. What Alex just said, when I think of freedom, it's the ability to do what I want. When women think of freedom, it's the ability to not be held accountable. Interesting. Those are two definitely stark differences.
the mythology like this is because if they imagine themselves to be one with nature, one with their environment, then there's no disconnect, there's no other, and so nothing can be imposed upon them. Nature's not going to force them to do anything because they are nature, and that's freedom. Like in this mindset, it's just this free-flowing, just formless expression, you know, that just never reaches any kind of limits or boundaries. That's what she thinks freedom is. That's what she thinks femininity is. I don't mean to like be insulting, but I just can't think of another way to,
No, it's fucking dumb.
to explain this. But this kind of perspective, it honestly, it makes me think about the kind of fantasies that you used to have in kindergarten of just like running away from your parents because they're always making you clean your room and you just want to go live in the woods.
I believe that's exactly what it is, Alex. That's why we always say women never grew up. They still live in this fantasy land. They still think they can do these things. They can just run away from all their problems and their adulting life by finding a man to take care of them.
And it feels, yeah, like it feels condescending to even have to say this, but women, you know that this is not reality, right? Like this image, this beautiful image of this like pixie fairy nymph woman, it's gorgeous, but it's surreal. It's an impression, an artistic expression of what femininity in a pure state looks like. It's making a kind of statement about, you know, the wildness and the natural, you know, instincts of femininity. But you can't take it literally. This is not historical fact. This is just a picture. In reality, this nymph would die from cold or hunger. You ever see that TV show Alone where they send people out into the woods to survive by themselves? They usually send 3 or 4 women out of the 10 contestants and they're awesome, but they're not nymphs, right? Like these are survival women. They're building fires, they're chopping down trees, they're making shelters, they're skinning rabbits. This is where your conception, your understanding of freedom is just so mistaken, because true freedom requires competence. It requires the ability to make smart decisions and to actively shape your environment to suit you. And like, maybe we don't need to just
I
like,
just said the ability to be able to do what I want, to shape things I want. Like that's what I think of freedom.
conquer nature and just like destroy everything. Yet like work with nature, work within the seasons, love all that stuff. But if you're going to survive, you're going to really be free to a certain degree. You need to bend nature to your will, make it serve your interests. And that's what civilization is. That's what societies are attempting. And sure, make the argument that we've gone too far. Fine to have that discussion, but on a fundamental level, men and civilization don't inhibit femininity. It's the exact opposite. They enable it. Because when a woman is well-resourced and she is protected and she is relaxed, you know, that's when she can actually sink into her true feminine expression. She can actually be a nymph. I don't totally know what a nymph is. I'm gonna have to Google it. Like a nature fairy. Like she can be pure of spirit. She can be...
I know what a nympho is. Are they the same thing?
sweet and kind. But if she doesn't have civilization, she doesn't have men, she doesn't have shelter, she doesn't have food, she doesn't have fire, then she can't be feminine. She's going to have to be masculine. You know, that's when the problem-solving part of her brain's going to have to...
That's what I think, in my opinion. Nature is masculine in all of its glory, right? Because the things you have to do in nature is very harsh.
Kick in, she's going to have to toughen up so that she can create those conditions with the hope that at some point in the future, she'll get to be feminine again. The notion that this stuff, men and civilization are preventing women from being feminine, it is the exact opposite.
Identity we get from like the Bible, all that happened because agriculture became the standard. Really, women did need to be trapped once and for all. And that's what happened. But it didn't make women any more feminine. It made them more masculine. And that's why we live in such a scheduled, regimented, 4x4, walled off kind of world, is because there is not enough of the feminine principle out here.
Do you think that these women are aware that hunter-gatherer tribes still exist, or that we have very
I don't think they do. Remember, women are just so into their own life and maybe some social justice type things, but they don't actually know that there's still slavery, that there's still a lot of things going on that they think it's
extensive anthropological records, like documented tribes from all over the planet. Like, we don't need to guess what life was like for women before agriculture. We know there's still tribes today. We can go and see. What does she think life is like for women in those tribes? Do you think the women are
they're constantly getting water, they're constantly doing all of the basic necessities of life that men in the Western world made basic?
Trapped and like held prisoners as muses? I'll tell you, it is an absolute universal in hunter-gatherer tribes. The women cling to the men for survival. The men do so much of the shit that keeps her safe. Her theory that women would just be constantly running off into the woods to escape men, that could be disproved with 5 minutes on a Google search engine, which makes you wonder how deep you need to go into an echo chamber before you don't realize how quickly disprovable your entire worldview is. Has nobody ever told her this before? Has she never heard of hunter-gatherers? It's weird. It's scary. How can you be this confident and this wrong?
Idiots.